adorable. She got
That's
her
so
face
funny
up
to
there
me.
with the best smile. Hilarious.
When she switched to the baby. People so creative.
Oh, that's hilarious.
All right, here we go. Hey, welcome to another episode of the Black Guy Who Tells podcast. I'm your host, Rod, joined as always by my co-host,
Karen.
And we're live on a Wednesday, ready to wrap up the week. Find us everywhere that you find podcasts. Search the Black Guy Who Tells will come up. The official weapon of the show is folding chair, and the unofficial sport,
bullet ball.
Extreme. Wrapping up the week. Lots to talk about, I'm sure. But of course, I have to start by asking you, do you have any banter? All right, so here we go with some banter music. This is a Magnetic Groove. All right, banter me up, baby.
I actually am feeling really good. I put on some pants I haven't worn in a long time. Cause with the pandemic and stuff like that, like everybody else, I gained weight. And so a lot of my clothes kind of pre-pandemic, they just in there taking up space, and I hadn't been able to get my ass in them. And so it felt really good to put some on them and be like, hey, I get in them again. So yeah, I know that might not sound big, but that's a big thing for me.
Nah,
it's been yoga pants, bitch.
Nah, that is good. Sometimes I have clothes that I'm like, oh, I need to get rid of these, and I always have the idea in my mind of like, oh, but one day I'll fit back into them. I like this shirt or whatever, and then you just have them around the house or whatever. But yeah, I've noticed some of my shirts fit a little different now and stuff, but no, that's good. And you'd save some money. You didn't have to throw the pants out or whatever.
And half the time I actually do eventually need to go through there and actually get rid of some stuff, just because I have a lot of clothes, y'all. And so I need to go through and actually just be like, okay, I haven't pulled this out in forever. That's actually just really just comb through there really good and to decide if I want to keep it or not. There's some stuff I'm going to keep regardless, just certain things just out of sentimental value, things that was given to me from other people. Then I'm like, I personally just want to hold on to this item, even if I can't ever get into it again. It's a personal thing. But there are some things that I know I need to get rid of, because the thing about me, my style, my taste, it fluctuates. I like shit for a season. Next season, I might not like it no more. I might like it for a few days. I like it. I got 5 versions of it, and then I'm like, I don't care for that no more type of thing. So I have some stuff in there. I'm like, hey, because right now I like to be very comfortable with my clothing, and I actually like a lot of like t-shirts with like logos and slogans and things like that on them and stuff like that. And I've seen something I wanted, but I'm not going to buy anymore until I get rid of some of the ones that I haven't worn in a while. I know I'm not going to wear around to kind of make room, for those things and stuff like that. And I also have been, I'm proud of myself. I'm still doing the Peloton. I did like a 15-minute workout today, which I really like. I didn't realize they have something that's like low impact, which today I just wasn't in the mood for nothing high intensity or anything like that. My body was like, but you need to work out, but I don't got all that energy. So I was like, well, let's do the low today. Let's drop it low. So that's what I did.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a thing too, is like, sometimes you have to consider that you're going from not doing anything to doing something, and you can't be too hard on yourself. That something's better than nothing, really, literally. And even if it's a low impact ride, even if they have the scenic rides, I do those sometimes on the Peloton. The entertainment one or whatever, like everything, I know they kind of push you towards like competition, like join this class, look at the standings. And some people are very motivated by that stuff, but especially when you're starting out and you're not going to be high up in the standings and all that stuff, it, it can be a little like, what's the point of doing this? So yeah, you never knock yourself for that. My the personal trainer, one of the goals she added for this week was, to take instead of doing like walking for 30 minutes and then playing basketball for like 15 minutes or so, whatever, exercise I prefer to do. She was like, go for a 45-minute outside walk, like just get out the
Outdoors,
house
yeah.
and you'll get some different terrain. It'll be a little more challenging up and downhill, instead of just doing the track at the Y or whatever. And I was like, cool, so I did it and I went down the path that I sometimes go, but just further than I've ever been. And it ended up being like about an hour walk, and it ended up being like, I don't know, like 2.5 miles or something. Cause I've never been a fast walker, not even when I was a kid, not even when I was in school. I used to always fucking fail the mile, like where most people can walk a mile in like 15, like, so like you're supposed to be able to walk a mile in less than like 15 minutes. And I've never done that in my whole life. No matter how good a shape, I've been able to play basketball, but not walk a mile in 15 minutes. It's fucking crazy. I can run, like if I run some of it, I could do it. But if I just straight up walk, everybody walks faster than me. Everybody walks past me.
Child,
But
I love it, child. I haven't done it in a long time, but child, I love a good power walk, child. I'll power walk your ass down.
yeah,
That's my jam.
I've never been good at power walking and stuff or whatever. So I just walk and I'm getting exercise. I'm sweating. If you look at my watch, my Apple Watch, my heart rate's up and stuff, but it's just, I walk slow. But yeah, so I did that, and I wasn't trying to rush it. I made sure I got a good exercise or whatever. But it was, sometimes it's not even about how hard you're going, it's about the endurance, it's about building up stuff. So yeah, I did that walk too. And then this morning, I fell asleep on the couch last night, and then I woke up at like 4 a.m, and the Y opens at 5. And I knew I had to go see the nutritionist at like 11. And I was like, what should I do? Should I go back to sleep on the couch? Should I go to the bed and then get up at like 9 and work out and then go see her at 11? And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I just got up and went to the Y at 5 a.m. It's
designed, and there's gonna be people in there. Them early birds, they be in there.
Yeah, the early birds were in there. They were getting it. And there's actually, quite a lot of people at the start, because there's a lot of people that get up every morning, and they do that shit like 5 a.m. every morning.
Yes, they do.
And so, I knew some people would be in there. That's actually when people used to play basketball at that Y. Some people would play 5 o'clock on Wednesday and 5 o'clock in the morning on Friday. So anyway, I did all the stuff. The sled was missing the belt piece of it, which I don't know who the fuck took the belt, why they didn't put it back. It's because for the sled, you got to push it, and I've been pushing it, and it's got so much weight on it now. But she's, this is what she wanted me to do, and I feel like I can only get better if I do everything she has me doing when she's not there. Or else, when I come in Friday, it's gonna show. So I wouldn't push that motherfucking sled both ways for all the sets I was supposed to do without the fucking belt. And it just ended up working like one muscle group instead of both. Like you work one on the way up and one on the way down. But my legs was, and then I did all the leg stuff and all that shit. But I did it, and I'm proud of myself. And then I went back home, came back for the nutritionist, and man, it was so much. It's like you're learning and hearing so much shit for the first time. For me anyway, I was learning and hearing so much stuff.
Right, because a lot of it's new to most people because they're not nutritionists.
Yeah, I mean, it's clearly that's why they know what they doing. That's why they get paid, is because they know shit you don't know. I had to take a metabolism test the day before, and basically they put this machine. It's a small machine that you put on your mouth, and you just breathe for like 10 minutes, and you can't laugh, you can't cough, or you have to start over. I had my phone with me, so I was like, okay, I'll just listen to some music or something, and then I'll play Marvel Snap until the fucking test is over, just to pass time. She had magazines and stuff. I was like, I'll just look at my phone. And immediately I started playing Marvel Snap, and then I'm like, oh, let me go Spotify, and I forgot I said music, and I went and put it on What's the Tea with Nick and Reggie. And
you just said you can't laugh now.
I know. When I tell you it wasn't even like 30 seconds in, Nicole started talking French or some shit, and I was like, let me turn this off. Let me turn this off.
Fuck up my test.
Yeah. I said, let me turn this shit the fuck off because I'm not gonna make it 10 minutes.
No, you're not.
I don't even know what the fuck I was thinking. I don't know. I just lost it for a second and forgot that I could need to listen to something. So I just went and listened to Steely Dan and said instead, but yeah, and so they get your exact calories that you burn from that somehow. I don't know how the test really can tell, but you get the exact calories from that you can burn for the day, your resting metabolism, and that's before you do any exercise and stuff. And of course, I'm doing exercise, so I'm burning extra calories right now. And so then they give you like a meal plan, and there's lots of substitutions, there's lots of suggestions on what to eat. I have to do shopping because like a lot of the foods we don't even have in here. And also the main thing you learn is there's a lot of like substitutions. It's a lot of like if you're supposed to have this many things in this meal, like you need to have this much carbs, this much fat, this much. And there's another thing. It wasn't like they starve you.
Right.
It's more calories than I'm eating right now, which she said, don't worry about that. Like, the goal isn't to like, I need to eat everything on this list, but the goal is to kind of like regulate throughout the day what you eat without. Cause like right now, the way I eat is I'm not hungry. Eat a big ass meal. And it's all the way up at the top of the curve, with the amount of calories, and then not hungry. And she was like, and there are people that do that if that's what they want. But she's like, with the goals that I have, she was like, it's better to just always constantly be eating something. And then like every 3 hours, like you have a little something and then a little something and then a little something. And so, learning to eat like that, trying to adjust your appetite to that is going to be, or my appetite to that, I'm sure it's going to be a challenge. Cause I'm basically reteaching my body about like how to eat food. And the snacks and the options on there, I don't just have them sitting around the house, although I cook all the time, so it won't be hard for me. But it's just like, put a half an avocado in there. I'm like, an avocado is a plant, okay? You don't just go pick up an avocado,
right?
Okay?
We got avocado trees.
You need to know what you're doing with that avocado, because the ones that I see at my store, it's like you gotta have a 2-day, like, okay, so 2 days from now I'm gonna be eating this avocado. It ain't no let me go cop this avocado and it's gonna be good forever.
And I'm not no good avocado picker. Like some people can be like, this was good, this was not.
I can pick a good one, but a lot of times none of them are good if you go to the right place. Unless they have a section, because some grocery stores have a section of like, these avocados you can eat tonight. But then if you do that, you got to eat that motherfucker like in the next 24 hours, because after that it's just black inside, So we were basically going through like, I was just asking her questions about that kind of stuff, and so yeah, it was a cool experience. Anything else for your banter?
We early voted today.
We did.
In North Carolina, you can early vote. So for those out there in North Carolina, know that you can early vote
in the primary. By the way,
in the primary, and some of the district seats and things like that. So we did that today, which was fun. And shout out to the National Black Caucus of North Carolina, because they actually like send you stuff out, and they do a lot of the work for you, because like there are people who are low-key Republicans, but you wouldn't know that. Like they did investigations on people and check their PO boxes and stuff. They were like, yeah, this is the same mailbox the Republicans get mail in the state.
Karen's talking about the candidates. Like,
yes, the candidates.
We talked about that on the show before, where like a candidate switches parties, or the money that they're being funded we don't know where it's coming from. Their PO box is the same PO box for the Republicans running, even though that person is running as a Democrat. We had school board people that did that in North Carolina. And so
Yes, we did.
the Congressional Black Caucus, wherever you live, typically that's going to be a Democrat sort of leaning situation. And they're going to vet people. And so you don't have to worry about, running up in there and having that issue.
Yeah, because people use all types of names and things like that. You can't go by names because there were people like you hear like on local radio and shit like that, and then you be like, so and so Jackson. Oh, he white. Because you don't see the faces.
I used to do that when I first started voting, and I didn't know everything, and the internet wasn't that prominent. And I'm sure a lot of people are guilty of this. It can't just be me, but man, I remember a big thing for me was like, sounds black. And I would like, if it was two names, it was like for city comptroller. And it'd be like, Bob Jones, and then Bob Smithenheimer. And then the next person's name would be Irvin Johnson or Irvin Jackson. I'm like, that's a brother. And I'd just be like, give it to him. But what's funny is now, with the internet, and with the flyers for voting and stuff, they send you see the pictures of the people.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you see the pictures, it's like, oh shit, wait a minute. Irvin Jackson is a white man.
Like, right? I was like, oh, I didn't know he was white, dude. Like, I heard him on Shot at the Top. Like, okay, let's go.
Like, part of me wonders if that's why, like, how some white people get nominated. They're like, I got a black name. I'm running for something. Okay. We in Charlotte. My parents happen to name me Jerome. I'm finna coast on this shit.
Yeah.
And then the internet fucked everything up. Once we got this media where we could keep track of who their faces are, shit. It's like, no one's gonna vote for Irvin Johnson now.
That's hilarious. We still in our state, we still have where you have to show your license and stuff like that, which I fucking hate. I have a license because I'm privileged enough to have one, but not everybody does and shit like that. So I don't know. I vote because that's what I do, but it's also frustrating every time I go in there thinking of the people that can't vote because this fucked up ass rule y'all got.
Right. So yeah, we voted, took our post-voting selfie, that's a tradition. It was easy to vote. They let you look at your phone, which is also good. On the way back, I saw a bumper sticker on a car that said, never forget 9/11 and January 6th. And it had an American flag on the left side of it. And honest to God, what side are you on? I don't know.
I was trying to figure it out. We have no idea.
I can't tell if they're on our side or not when they do that, because are you saying both of these are terrorism? Are you saying both of these are tragedies?
Right.
In which way is January 6th a tragedy? Is it a tragedy because, wow, our country almost had an insurrection that law, or is it tragic because we almost, oh no, if we would have just had one more hour in there, we would have got it, So I don't know, man. It's just so weird to see that bumper sticker because, and I was trying to pick up context clues, and for a second it looked like they were going to the same place we were going, and I had just took a picture of they bumper sticker, so who knows if they saw me. But then they pulled off and made I said, damn, maybe they think we under surveillance. I don't know. Maybe they thought we was looking at their license plate. I was just looking at the bumper sticker.
Yeah.
I was just gonna wait for you to park so I could be like, is that a sister getting out the car? Or is that a white man, getting out the truck? I don't know what was gonna happen, but yeah, I thought about that. Also, another thing for banter, whenever I'm watching one of these true crime shows, they'll have a disclaimer at the beginning. It's like, the individuals in this program are considered innocent until proven guilty, blah, blah, blah. And I always am on the couch like, they did that shit.
Yeah.
It don't matter. It don't matter. In the first 48, all these people are innocent until proven guilty. Me, 4 minutes later, yeah, they killed them.
I do not care. I think somebody left a question.
I got it. I got it.
And also, I see Miss Smart was asking, was Smuggy on the ballot? Smuggy wasn't on this ballot.
Not this ballot. Not this one.
Shout out to those listening to Balls Deep and our local
news
talk.
Yeah, he might not be in our district for us to vote in the citywide primary, though. He was, and they did tell us to vote for him. I'm sure we'll talk about it a little bit more with Justin, because Justin's vote, North Carolina, South Carolina, close as hell, but Justin's on the other side.
Yeah, and they don't. I don't think
with the voting
early vote.
So
in South Carolina.
He did early vote.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, they do. Okay.
Already. In the primary, at least. I don't know about general, but he voted in this primary, and we didn't get to talk about it because I don't know none of them motherfuckers. I don't know how Justin's learning that shit. I know the Charlotte people from our local news, but I don't know if he got to listen to the South Carolina local news or what.
I don't know nothing about how they vote down South Carolina.
The question we have from Miss Smart, who says, do y'all think it would be useful to reinforce things like home ec / health so this stuff can be taught ingrained early in us? Well, I think it's interesting because we were taught health and home ec when I was in school, and I still didn't learn this stuff. Maybe it's just I didn't absorb it. I think also a lot of the information has changed over the years. And there's big money involved in teaching us what to eat. It's that food pyramid.
Yeah.
And shit. And then
food
you get
circle, whatever they want to call it. Yeah.
Yeah, but then you get older as an adult and you find out like, oh no, that's paid for by big corn syrup or whatever. Fucking, it's like, what? It's like, nah, you not, and like dietitian advice changes, the fads of what diets and what to eat changes. I was listening to JL Covan, he's always talking about weight and weight loss and stuff as part of his comedy and part of his depression. And he was like, everyone knows it's the Mediterranean diet or whatever. Like, you just eat that. And I was like, when I was a kid, at least, I never even heard of Mediterranean diet.
I haven't.
It wasn't, and I'm not saying people weren't eating that. Just people hadn't started selling that in the book as the thing to eat. And I remember a time where it was like, no, eat potatoes and starches and all that shit. Don't like. That's what you want. That's the healthy vegetables. Or what you want serving the vegetables? Get you some French fries or whatever.
Yes.
And so I guess what I'm saying is, I don't know that they're not teaching this stuff in school, to be honest, because I don't have any kids. So I don't want to assume they're not teaching. I just know when they were teaching it, a lot of that stuff turned out to be wrong anyway, because Big Beef was telling us eat 3 cows a day and shit. And now that I'm an adult, even now I get conflicting information. It's one of the reasons I'm not trying to. I won't talk that much about this on the show until this year. It's just because people be sending unsolicited advice. Everyone's got their own thing they're doing. And I'm like, let me go pay some professionals to tell me, some techniques or some things that can improve it.
Right. They've done tests specifically just for you.
Right. And I mean, honestly, I was doing a lot of this stuff before them, as far as I was losing weight already. I was changed how I ate already. That was, and so that stuff was already happening. So I don't feel as like I want their advice and I want to know how to do it better, but I don't feel so like, man, if I don't do everything they say, I'm not going to be able to make it. It's more like okay, here's what they think will work. And of course they're going to be right, because this is what they do. But it's not so like, this is the only way to do it. It's like, here's the way for me. And even they're very open about that. I was talking to the personal trainer and we were talking about, because every week one of the measurables is gonna be like, what's your weight, whatever. And I hate that part, but I get it and I respect that that's her job. And she does a good job of being like, it's not about that, but it's just one of the things that lets us know like where we're at progress wise.
Yeah, what we need to work on,
because I think she sees it on my face when I'm like, man, honestly, I'll be trying not to just stare at the scale and be like, oh, it was this many ounces. Like, it's just, I want to feel better. I know that it should correspond with that number changing, but I don't want to turn everything into just that number.
Right.
And so we were talking and I said, she said, how you deal with food and stuff? And I said, I did good every day except like the Super Bowl. I said, we had pizza and wings because Karen wanted that. And she was like, that's fine. And then what'd you do the next day? I was like, I got right back on what I was doing. She was like, that's good, because, when I talked to her first, and we talked about it, I was like, one of my things was if I was on a diet, or if I was, trying to, change something in the way, if I failed at that, if I had a day where I was like, fuck it, man, I ate a burger today. Back in the past, I'd be like, and that was it.
Yep, like, it's over.
I guess that didn't work, And she was like, nah, it's important to just not look at it. You got to look at it holistically. It's about changing habits over a lifetime. It's not about just necessarily restrictions and all that stuff. And I think even with the nutritionist, she's been very good. A lot of it's about, the reason that it's overwhelming is because it's about options. It's not have an egg and 4 egg whites and then a piece of low-fat cheese, right, and have that every day, 5 days a week.
Because some people are like, I want to be told what to eat. I don't want the choices. And you have some people to go, I like the choices.
Yeah, and so instead, it will be more like, you can have eggs in this, or you can switch that out and you can do this. If you need some fats, you can go with an avocado, or you can do this. If you need, this type of fruit, you can eat this instead. And so, that's the main hard part that's going to be hard to learn, is what you can swap in and out. But I'm committed to learning it and getting those things in the house so that I can do them. So, and then also I played basketball for the first time in a long time, full court with some people on Monday, because school was out for President's Day. And so these high school age kids were in there just shooting around, and they had like exactly 9 people. And I had only come in there to do I did the sled. I didn't expect anyone to be in there, so I did the sled first, which basically wipes your legs out. It's like, it's a full body workout, but like that, then like I can go do the track, after that, and then after that I can shoot around a little bit, but it's not like I'm basically just barely hanging in there shooting around. But they were just like, man, we need one, please, man. You play with us. And I said, oh man, I'm out of shape, man. I don't know. Come on, man. We just won, man. We just want to get one game in. I said, all right, and I go out there, and like I was fine, like getting up and down the court a little bit. I was winded, but I was getting up and down. I was still slow and trying to get, like, all the basketball muscles are just different than the weightlifting and shit.
Right.
So like, I'm like boxing out, trying to rebound and all this shit. And they're kids, they're not good. Like, I'm like, no offense to them. They were all like, but it's 2 years ago, they would have all been like, oh man, this guy is really good. I'm surprised that he's out here with us. Right. Even at my size and stuff, I played a lot of basketball, and I was just better than motherfuckers would expect me to be. But no, not now. And so I like boxed out, and like just the first hint that things was not the same was I went to go get a rebound, and it's like my legs was like, no, we're not. And it's like, wait, what? Like my brain was like, yeah, just go get the rebound, you box out and jump. And my body was like, no, we're not doing that. And and like so I didn't get like a rebound that I thought I was gonna get at first. And I was like, okay, I'll just have to box out and not anticipate jumping and shit. And then, a couple plays down, people moving the ball around, and I get it. And, I'm just trying to, pass the ball and be, part of the team player. But, the dude checking me backs off of me, and I'm like, oh, okay, let me go post up or something. And I go to do a turnaround, like kind of fade away, and air ball. I was like, whoa. Whoa.
Who you think you are? Me?
What the fuck? Like, I did not see that coming. It was not from far away either. I mean, it's a routine, like just a routine turnaround. And I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
And I did. And so, the clues wasn't hitting me yet. I just was like, I must be off. I don't know. Maybe I'm that winded. Then like another play down the court. And for the record, they didn't see me being sorry because they were sorry. So I was fitting in. You see what I'm saying? Like them kids don't play ball all the time. They play ball because school was out.
Right.
So these motherfuckers was throwing up bricks, air balls, turnovers, dribbling off their foot.
They were just having a good time.
They were fucking terrible. I was there the whole time like, God damn, these kids suck. It was like one kid, maybe 2 kids I thought were like, oh, that kid's okay.
They was like, look, we out here just because for the exercise.
But so to them, this wasn't terrible basketball. It was just, we're having fun. It's no problem. And to me, I'm like, God damn, this sucks. And so I go down another time and I cross the dude over. Um and so it's like when I'm getting up and down the court with those, like I felt fine. And then I crossed the dude over, that felt fine. Step back to shoot a jumper, airball again. But this time, not did I just airball it. It was like from 3. I started pedaling back because I'm trying to catch myself. I could not catch myself. And I fell in the most Scooby-Doo ass like fall.
Oh no!
Meaning like
you should have did that sled.
from one 3-point line to the other 3-point line on the other side of the court.
Did we hear that? That music?
Yeah, it felt like that. And they're all looking at the air ball. They're looking the other way. They're not even looking at me. They're just trying to get the rebound. And I'm falling for so long with this like I'm falling that for so long that they had the rebound and had turned around. I'm still falling. And the reason I'm falling that long is because I'm trying to catch my balance, right?
Right.
And I didn't realize it at the time because I haven't played ball in this long and definitely not since I've been working out like this. But that, like, I fell, I caught myself, my wrist got a little jammed. I'm okay. And I'm like, oh man, you good? And I was like, yeah, man, I'm washed, man. I was like, oh, I don't know what's happening. This has never happened to me before, you know? And I'm like, damn, am I that out of shape? Like, that's not even a basketball muscle to just be able to fucking land. And they're like, and so I get up and the dude I'm checking tries to cross me. And I go to steal the ball and I knock it loose. Like that part is, just left, right muscles or whatever. And so I rip them. I go to get the ball. It's like once again, when I go to use my fast twitch thigh muscles, it was like, no, we're not getting that ball. Like it was just like my brain was like, dive, jump on the ground. It was like, no, we can't do any of that right now.
I don't know what you thought this was, but we are not participating in this activity.
Those options were grayed out on the menu.
When you was going down trying to pick.
And so I knocked, so another kid gets the ball. I can't steal it from him. And then we eventually get the rebound or whatever. And because these motherfuckers are sorry, like the score at this point is probably like 4-2, I think. We're going on 1s and 2s. It's 4-2. We've been playing 15 fucking minutes.
Oh no!
Right. Like I had my little watch on so I could kind of time it out. And I'm like, and I finally was just like, all right, guys, I gotta stop. And they were like, what? Man, we need you or whatever. I said, yeah, I don't know what's happening, but whatever the fuck this is, I can't do this. Like I can't play 15 more minutes where my legs I can't shoot a jumper, I can't drive, right. I can't get a steal. Like something's wrong. And I put it together, obviously, after, just as you did, is because I did that fucking sled. I didn't know that. I mean, she told me it was a great workout. And I mean, I've been doing it. Like I started the sled like 4 weeks ago, and it was 100 pounds. Now I'm up to 285, like basically 300 pounds.
Ciao.
Right. And so now that I'm pushing 300 pounds both ways 4 times before before even trying to do cardio, I do it every day. I go to the gym, even if it's a cardio day, I'm like, gotta do the sled, then I gotta do the cardio. And apparently that shit is like when Goku took off his motherfucking shirt and we found out that shit was weighed like a metric ton, and you're like, oh, that's why that nigga so strong. I guess that's what the sled is, because she said I was good at it, and I guess I'm better than I thought, which is why she just kept upping the weight.
Right.
But
challenge you, yeah. But
yeah.
Your legs is like, okay, I don't know what you think this is. You should have went on for that walk, so.
Yeah, she texted me about the sled and was like, she texted me about my progress and was like, could you give me like a testimonial type thing? And it's not about weight or anything, just like how you feeling, what you've been learning, how the exercise is treating you. And I sent her back some stuff. And one of the things I said, I played basketball, but I'm gonna just have to tell you about that Friday because I was like, this is a motherfucking story right here.
I gotta tell you this in person.
Yeah, but yeah, I feel like if I wouldn't have did the sled, I would have actually been pretty good.
And been able to respond decently.
Yeah, I would have. I mean, like I said, I think it was working. It's just, I'm learning new shit. I've never lifted weights before. I did not know. Like sometimes I'll lift weights and I go shoot around and I can feel my legs feeling a little dead. I can feel my arms feeling like they're almost too strong. Like where it's like I have to keep shooting until I find like, okay, this is the right amount of strength to shoot this basketball with. Because once you start lifting a bunch of shit, it's like your arms get less sensitive to that. But that was an adventure. Anything else?
One more thing I want to talk about. Me and Roger tried some gummy bears. I love gummy bears and gummy worms.
We didn't try some gummy bears. It was sugar-free gummy bears that I got off of Amazon because I was trying to look for some alternatives. And there's the thing that we're doing this time that I'm trying to stick with is just because, like, if there's a snack or something that we enjoy, and instead of just being like, well, I guess we got to just give up on that.
Right.
It's like, well, let me see if there's an alternative to that.
And for a lot of them, there are.
There's alternatives. And so one of them was this sugar-free gummy bears, except it wasn't just sugar-free gummy bears. They're called Joyride. It was sugar-free gummies, keto candy with 0 sugar, 6 grams net carbs, low-calorie vegan snack with no sugar, alcohol, 0 sugar fruity gummy bears, 1.8 ounces, pack of 8. That's what I got.
Child, them shits was nasty. It was like chewing on goddamn rubber. I was the fuck is this?
They taste like candle wax.
I was chewing and chewing. Is this gristle? I'm like, the fuck is this? It's not gummy. Because, y'all, I love gummy bears. So any type of gummy bears, when I get them, I always squeeze them. That's the very first thing I do before I put them in my mouth. And the softer the squeeze, the better the gummy bears, just naturally. I squeezed that bitch, and that bitch was like, I don't feel like moving. I was like, Karen, this might not be good. This might not be good, bitch. That gummy bear didn't give it all. That gummy bear was like, you won't break my soul. I was like, no, I will not break your soul, baby. No.
Yeah, it was so bad. And this shit had a 4.1 out of 5 rating on Amazon. But what I'm imagining is that is ratings from vegans and shit that are like, because vegans they be like, nah, this broccoli do taste like a chicken wing. You're like, no, it don't. It tastes like broccoli. It tastes like you had broccoli, you put some buffalo sauce on it. They're like, no, these are buffalo wings now. And I feel like that's what happened with this.
Right. And I was like, no, thank you.
And they went too healthy. It was 0 everything.
Yes, shit. I mean, I want to go down, but goddamn, I don't want 0 everything because some of our favorite gummy bears, I think they got like reduced sugar. But I don't think they got like sugar free. I didn't realize because I was like, oh, this is the kind we like because we love a particular brand. It's just so good.
Yeah, it's like Albanese or something. Yeah, I saw they had lower sugar. They didn't have 0, but I mean, it's not like I could have 0 sugar, but it's just I'm trying to find stuff like that to see if these cookies are 0 sugar. Let's see what they hitting for. And some of those have actually been good.
Yes, they have. Like in this
case,
them sugar-free, what'd you call them? Not Jawbreakers,
Jolly Ranchers.
Jolly Ranchers are absolutely delicious. Yeah, I can't tell the difference.
Can't even tell. And then some shit you're like, I can tell. But yep. All right. That was some good banter. Anything else?
Mm-mm.
All right, let's get into the show. This song, this beat is called Proud. All right, let's get into some of these articles. Mary Trump rips into Jon Stewart for equating Donald Trump and Joe Biden. Our lesbian clinical psychologist Mary Trump is outraged at comedian journalist Jon Stewart after he gave a sarcastic apology for establishing a false equivalency between President Joe Biden and her uncle Donald Trump. Stewart's triumphant return to The Daily Show after a 9-year hiatus was immediately met with Democratic backlash after a segment in which he discussed how a Biden presidency would be equally as problematic as a Donald Trump presidency due to both of the candidates being old. After the segment, Mary Trump tweeted, "Not only is Stewart's both sides are the same rhetoric not funny, it's a potential disaster for democracy. I have thoughts," and she made a whole thread. She also wrote a blog post calling out Stewart's both sides bullshit, accused him of helping Donald Trump with his arguments, and blasted a statement that we're not suggesting neither man is vibrant, productive, or even capable, but they are both stretching the limits of being able to handle the toughest job in the world. In what universe is Donald vibrant, productive, or capable? Mary Trump wrote. And this statement wasn't even tongue-in-cheek. Stewart was making a straight-up comparison. There are no excuses here. Stewart knows who Donald is. Donald isn't vibrant. He is compulsive and unhinged. Donald isn't productive. He is inept. Donald isn't capable. He is a disaster. She went on to acknowledge Biden's age, but praised his astounding accomplishments in spite of it all. Record economic recovery, historic climate and infrastructure investment, massive achievements in an era of vanishing bipartisanship. Unlike his elderly, fascist, and cognitively impaired counterpart in the Republican Party, President Biden is an elder statesman with experience to get things done that can give American democracy a fighting chance. Stewart, on the next episode of The Daily Show, acknowledged the backlash, sharing her tweet along with thoughts of a few others who were just as angry, but instead of acknowledging the real dangers Mary Trump pointed out, he defended himself by saying his show wasn't that long and accused his critics of opposing discussion in general. It's one fucking show. It was 20 minutes, but I guess as the famous saying goes, democracy dies in discussion. He faked a Southern accent and sarcastically apologized for having sinned against you and said, "It was never my intention to say it loud, what I saw with my eyes and then brain." And finally, he criticized his critics as pushing unquestioning propaganda. So then she wrote another blog post, said he set up a straw man rather than engaging in my actual critique. He didn't defend his false equivalency. He pretended my objection to his comment was that he made a comment at all. She emphasized that Stewart should feel free to express opinions, but also that no artist is exempt from criticism. She said she believes it is not a problem to discuss Biden's age and weakness, but it is important not to equate Biden and Donald Trump in any way. We saw what happened when Donald was normalized by the media and people like Jimmy Fallon in 2016. It creates a false narrative that normalizes Donald, the people who support him, and the decision to vote for him.
Right.
And this is, I saw people going back and forth. I didn't participate in any of it. But this is one of the things about Jon Stewart that for a long I have not had reverence for Jon Stewart in that way, especially in the he's returning. I see his return as y'all fumbled the bag with a couple of other people, and y'all had to kind of go back to this, and he had a show that ended up being canceled, and so you had some availability. He's producing it. I'm sure he's a great producer. And all this stuff, but he was never infallible in the first place, not just the wise and that shit, but just he's the reason I came up with the phrase performative impartiality, where him and many, 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 many white liberals especially participate in this whole thing of like, but isn't everything the worst and kind of the same? And it's like, no, as a black person, I've never felt that way.
Right.
I've never had the luxury to feel that way. And it doesn't mean that I'm just walking around like, because I just love the Democrats. So it's not that. It's just of these two choices, there are two obvious differences for me. And no, I don't need to like make it seem like it's even or like a close call. It's not a close call. You can still find comedy in that. But he is the white liberal whisperer. And so those people, which is so ironic, let's get into a little bit of irony here. It's so ironic that they're defending an old white comedian returning to helm The Daily Show and being told, your old ass tactics of jokes, we don't like them. It's funny that they're the ones being like, he cannot be criticized. If you don't like him, you don't understand comedy. You don't like, that's how their defense of him is very much he must be respected and revered at all times. He can, if we get critical, what happens if we get critical? Then we're gonna bring back somebody else. Like it's just weird. I don't know if they can even see the irony in it.
They can't.
But it's very ironic that a lot of people are responding to this kind of over the hill, Bill Maher type approach as like a, hey man, this shit ain't true, or it's not funny to me, in the way like other people helmed that desk and people found them to be funny. Other people found their voices there. Here they come bringing you in and saying, you do it. Okay, you're the only white man that can bring us back together. The irony does not escape me, right? Just like people support Biden is because it's not because they just love somebody. A lot of it's like, this the only old white man that can bring us back together. And here's the backlash to it. And yeah, the false equivalency of pretend, like you would hope that Jon Stewart would be above that, but I guess he's not. And he's only doing the job of hosting one day a week, so you won't hear from him again until another week. And my most cynical take, this is what he was hoping for. Because when I like even read some of that first, like like the articles about it, I said, oh, he's returning to be the firebrand, the guy that sticks it to both sides. And here's the problem with that. And he should know better. If you're doing this because you need to show everybody how impartial and unbiased you are, how many fucking years do you have to be the most hated person by Fox News? The most, when you go up and you're fighting for the rights of the firefighters who died in 9/11, those aren't Democrats and Joe Biden stopping you. You know where the evil lies. You know where the bad is. You like, even for the context of the joke, I think you can make a better joke and grounded in some level of reality. I think you still can make jokes about this motherfucker being old without being like, my problem is they're both old. Well, that's not the real problem. Like I hear you, and I hear that that's an issue for you. That is not the real problem when it comes to these two candidates. And when you frame it that way, as if it's all the same, there's going to be people that push back on that because we're living through a normalization of Donald Trump again. And it's not as funny to folks. So I think Mary Trump was on point with it, but like, I don't think the people that defend Jon Stewart or Jon Stewart himself, as he's demonstrated, are even capable of hearing her critique. It just is, he basically did Charlemagne's version of, I ain't no bitch, and y'all on the Democrat plantation, Massa Biden did it. It's like, so any defense of Biden's record, any grounding in reality, any level of like, wait, but you're taking out context, turns into, if you said anything, you're basically just sitting around letting Joe Biden piss on your face. And I really would have hoped he would have been above that, but I guess he's not.
I think the thing that really frustrates me about this is that Jon Stewart, it's the same, but it's not. Jon Stewart, similar to Dave Chappelle, came back and used some of the old tactics that they've been using for decades, and they don't really want to change. They don't really want to evolve. They don't really, because you're talking to a person who has always been told they're right, always been, the man, and hadn't really been challenged on certain things. I always kind of ran the show. And so he's been away from a lot of the shit that's been happening. And so the show that he did when he was first there, and the show now is changed, it's evolved, it's grown. Your audience has changed. Mm-hmm. Your audience is, some are older, some are younger, because the host was younger. So, so you're dealing with the whole group of people. And these same jokes years ago could have flied because people hadn't experienced some of the things they've experienced now. But years ago, people were more willing to say, yeah, I don't agree, but I know that they're not trying to fucking burn the country down either. Yeah, it's fucked up. I don't like them, both sides. But because the Republicans have done their damnedest to burn that line where you have to pick a side, there is no middle ground anymore. You can't come in here with these jokes and just expect everybody to be like, rah, 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 we're glad you back.
And they rely on the false objectivity. They rely on that false impartiality. They're glad when somebody as prominent as Jon Stewart gets up there and says they're kind of the same, right? Like that, they're like, yeah, they're just the same. So like, vote for Donald Trump, obviously. And once again, in the context of that whole piece, he does go and talk about some of the positives for Joe Biden, why it's important to vote. I guess in their mind, he's still talking to a younger audience, although I don't think the Daily Show audience has been young since I was young. So he's really just talking to us more than likely. And so we'll see what happens with that. I wasn't blown away by him coming back, especially one day a week. And it just feels like y'all kind of dropped the ball on that. Mm-hmm. And I feel like a comedian who cared more, which is why I love Trevor Noah's stint, because he cared a lot. Even if you didn't agree with him, even if you said something wrong, he gave a fuck. He gave a fuck about the audience, gave a fuck about the feedback, gave a fuck about the comedic voices on the show, he gave a fuck about other people's opinions, he gave a fuck about the guests, he read their books, he did their watch the things. So that's what he brought to that show, and people weren't watching that. But they will watch Jon Stewart, probably. We'll see what the ratings are. But they'll probably watch Jon Stewart go up there and do, kind of the same thing he used to do and be like, yeah, in a time before everything was so polarized, this is what we wanted. And it makes me feel good, yummy nostalgia. But I'm like, yeah, it's funny. It makes him seem as old as the Biden-Trump people look old.
Right. Because like I said, if it's like nothing has evolved, nothing has changed. And not trying to funny, you can tell it's not dedicated. You don't do it once a week. So you actually don't want to do all the work that you were doing before. And I get that. Mm-hmm. If not trying to funny, that's the case, why do it once a week? Just tell them
he's
no.
Old, Karen. He's old. He's too old to do the
job. Force them to pick a host. Be like, bitch, pick a host.
Pick a real host.
Right.
Apple warns users not to put wet devices in rice. They said
can't put it on rice no more.
It allows small particles of rice to damage your phone. The company warns against other hacks, such as using an external heat source or inserting a cotton swab, as they may cause additional damage to the device. Repair experts suggest that air drying an iPhone on a counter is quicker than using rice. Swift action is essential to prevent water damage to the phone's internal electronics. Instead of opting for rice, Apple offers users an alternative solution for wet iPhones or charging connectors with specific recommendations if the latter triggers an alert or disables charging. Unplug the cable from your phone. Unplug the other end of the cable from the power adapter or accessory. Don't plug the cable in again until your phone and cable are completely dry. Tap your iPhone gently against your hand with the connector facing down to remove excess liquid. Leave your phone in a dry area with some airflow. After at least 30 minutes, try charger with a lightning or USB-C cable or connecting accessory. If you see the alert again, still liquid, and it says now you got to leave it for up to a day in a dry area. If your phone is dried out but still isn't charging, unplug the Here's what I'm saying.
I've never had that problem.
You never? I've had this. My phone's gotten wet and not charged before. Mm-hmm. Even if just the part of the part that plugs into your phone gets wet is giving me this warning before. Here's the thing. This just makes me think the rice definitely works. Not to get too conspiratorial, but like
open your third eye.
I feel like it's a reason y'all telling us like definitely not this. This definitely not what you want to do at all. You just 100% of the time this shit will never ever work for you. And that, meanwhile, how many of us have had it work in the past where we're like, yeah, that absolutely did work for me. I
don't know now. So you telling me blowing in my Nintendo cartridge don't work?
Right.
Get out of
Nintendo
here.
Put that out. I saw that before.
You're like, bullshit.
They was like, yeah, that don't work. I'm like, it don't work because it's all placebo effect because I've made it work.
I made that bitch work. Blew in that bitch and it was like, I'm back.
Yeah. Don't put them batteries you get from the dollar store back in the freezer. That won't make it get a charge. Let's see. Avengers 5 will no longer be called the Kang Avengers, the Kang Dynasty.
I can see that. Them just changing.
Of course, you can see it, Karen, because you sit across from me every day. We do this show.
Oh,
That's right. Yep, that's right. That's right. That's right. Yep, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Whoop, what was that again? Oh yeah, Rod was right. Rod was right.
I told people that shit was gonna happen, dog. The other thing is like, and obviously it's 100% because of Jonathan Majors' just career going up in smoke.
right.
But another and they're trying to lie and be like, we were already on this path after the reception for Avengers Endgame. I'm like, no, that's a lie, because after Avengers Endgame, season 2 of Loki comes out. Jonathan Majors is heavily in that fucking season.
Yes, he is.
Playing variants of Kang.
Yes.
Clearly, the plan was, we're going to keep rolling with this guy. And he fucked the plan up. You don't have to pretend that you were pressing it and like, we just knew somehow this wasn't working. Kang wasn't the problem with that Quantumania fucking movie. The fucking vast amounts of blue and green screen may have been the issue, that nothing was there. And that you took this hero out of like a grounded comedy heist buddy funny thing and try to throw him into like a family swashbuckling, whatever, Swiss Family Robinson, is that the name of it? I don't know if I tanked that or not, but y'all wanted to like do some like other shit, and then you're gonna throw Jonathan Majors under the bus. Like that was the issue with that movie, but whatever. I'm still convinced, and I know people want to recast, and I know people think, and I think black people want to recast because he's a black man, and y'all don't want to lose a character that is black in the MCU, so y'all keep acting like this nigga Kang has to be in these movies. To which I'm like, he done got his ass whooped twice at least. I think we can move on without his ass. I'm good. Kang wasn't that intriguing to me after he done took 2 L's. I'm like, okay, well, I know his power is he can take an infinite amount of L's, but it's not as appealing as Thanos, who just showed up, beat up the Hulk, and we was like, oh, fuck. Like, I need that type of energy. And so I'm cool if they don't ever put Kang in another movie, but I know, I think black people won't admit it, that it ain't about Kang, it's about a black actor. Because I see the people y'all keep suggesting replace them, and they're all very prominent black actors. Like, I think I would be more inclined to be like, no, Kang is just really important to the storyline. If y'all suggest a couple other people that weren't black, I think I would be like, oh, okay. All right, y'all just really think this character's important.
Right.
Y'all don't. Y'all just like, Jonathan Majors was the next prominent black man. Now put Denzel Washington's son on there and we can keep it rolling. So yeah, I just thought that was interesting, that I was right, and y'all should know. Let's see what else. Do I care about? Children exposed to spicy adult fiction via book talk influencers.
What is a book talk?
What do you think it is? Why don't you break it down? What you think?
Oh, okay. I thought it was something different. So it's just book suggestions on TikTok.
Yeah, they're influencers. They're people that are on TikTok promoting literature. And it's in an age where children aren't reading as much. They're scrolling TikTok. It's in an age where people are banning books in schools.
Yes, they are.
And they're not learning what they're supposed to learn. But when you outsource teaching from teachers, and you combine clout, the internet, and the unregulated social media,
that's the result.
These people are not really responsible for raising your fucking kids.
No, they're not.
So now Spicy, aka Sexy Books, have been, some of these people promote that adult content. And we're such an unserious country, such an unserious world. You're mad at the fucking influencer. Like, how you gonna promote a sexy book on your fucking TikTok?
Yes, my platform that I've created with adults here that actually, yeah.
Because I'm not your fucking kid's teacher. That's
no,
how.
I am not.
Y'all don't underpay me to teach your kids the way y'all do these. I'm getting it how I live.
Right.
It's like when people listen on podcasts. Why y'all got cuss so much? Why y'all say the N-word? Because it's ours, bitch. What the fuck you gonna do? Don't listen.
Yeah, you
I'm not here to educate your kid. If they get something and if they can learn from it, I mean, you got a cool ass kid. Dap them up, give them a beer. But as far as fucking me being their parent, that's crazy.
Right. It's like we're here talking about adult shit, doing adult thing. Your child walks in the room and everybody looks and go, okay, and keep it pushing. Like, we're not going to stop the show just because your child happened to scroll on the TikTok.
Many of the books popular with book talkers, such as Alice Oseman's Heartstopper series, are aimed at teenagers. Other titles, such as Maple Hill series by Hannah Grace, The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood, and The Spanish Love Deception by Elena Armas, have adult themes. These books have pastel covers with cute cartoonish drawings, so some adults might mistake them for young adult fiction and not realize exactly what the children are reading. This just sounds like you're saying, here are some parents that aren't paying attention, and it's TikTok's fault.
Right.
Young adult author Alexandra Christo said there's a rise of younger readers engaging in new adult books because now it's easier to find them with the success of social media marketing. A greater issue is the definition of what is or isn't an adult book has been blurred, with many books using marketing based on similar tropes across audiences, making things confusing for potential readers. When clips and content are often short, focusing on fun tropes without getting into the real specifics, it's hard to know who's the intended audience for any given book.
This is social media. I'm not a fucking librarian. I am here to sell my shit and promote my shit on this platform. And a lot of times it's very frustrating because not all parents, but some parents don't want to take the responsibility of monitoring their children.
Yeah.
And they don't want to be like, okay, I got a book. Let me skim this. Let me read this. Let me Google this. You ain't got to read it. Google it, look it up, and be like, what is this book about before I put it in my child's hands? You don't want to do any of that. It was pink. Okay, a lot of fucking pink book with flowers and colors out there. It does not mean it's designed for children.
Schools have become aware teenagers are being drawn to such books. And at least one London head teacher has written to parents urging them to check whether their children are reading age-appropriate books. Here's the thing for me, and this is also being lost in this. I used to read books when I was a teenager that had sex and shit in them all the time.
Oh, yeah, a lot of people did.
It's not the end of the fucking world either. It's just a fucking book at the end of the day. We've always been so scared that a kid is going to read something, but the classic books, Catcher in the Rye and fucking The Great Gatsby, have all this kind of shit in there. There's all, like, the books to me was more spicy than the movies and the TV when I was that age, because all kinds of crazy shit can happen in a book and nobody's reading every page of that to make sure it's okay,
right,
or whatever. Not all those books are rated and with parental advisory like you have to do for like a TV show or a movie.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's just interesting to see the panic over this because I don't think it's really that big a deal. Let's see. Let's do something else. Let's get into some okay. All right, cool. Let me pull up the music for this segment, guys. Sorry, everybody. Do some gender wars.
We're going to war. Gender war. There's a war going on outside. Gender war. There's a war going on outside. Gender war.
All right, gender wars time. Let's see what we're gonna be fighting, what they're fighting about today. We'll rate it on the quality of, how did it accomplish its goals of spreading the gender wars. This one is from Mrs. Jelly Santos. It says, first of all, you notice the people on Twitter that posted, it never happened to them. It's always like, this is crazy, y'all. This woman cheated on her boyfriend and blamed it on ovulation. She said she was just listening to her body. Her body was telling her to reproduce. Crying, emotional, smiley type emoji. All right, here we go.
Why did you cheat on me?
I was ovulating.
And it says, caught my girlfriend cheating, and this was her excuse. Now she's sitting on the bed holding a puppy, fully clothed and stuff. He's clearly holding the phone, recording her. But it's the way the angle starts at the beginning with him asking the the literal question, why did you cheat on me? In that voice. And then it's like, if you're looking at this on the video, it looks like he's pulling the phone out from like somewhere where she can't even really see that he's recording her, but it's also right in her face. So
why did you cheat on me?
I was ovulating. You don't know women. You haven't grown up with women. My body, I was just listening to my body. We are chemically created. I have this chemical thing in me where I have to reproduce. My body, I was just listening to my body. You know, I was at the club. There was a man there, cute. A couple drinks in, I was like, my body was like, reproduce.
What are you talking? So you're blaming science for you cheating?
Yes,
on me?
I had no control.
Okay, yeah, you didn't have to go home with him.
You obviously don't understand what it's like being a woman. Like, my body is chemically built so that I have to reproduce, and I was just listening to my body while I was ovulating. My body was screaming.
All right, well,
my eggs were like, let me intertwine with his sperm.
All right, fine. I cheated on you too.
Hilarious.
What?
I cheated on you too then.
What the fuck? Your body's not built the same way. You're an asshole.
Okay, I didn't cheat on you.
you.
I just wanted to see how you like it. It fucking sucks.
Men suck. You guys are the worst.
All right, so that's the all right, let's rate it. 0 to 10. I believe is what we rate these, Karen. What would you give it?
I don't. This one was not good.
You're a big energy person, so I figured you'd give it something low.
Right. This one was not good. I think, will it start people fighting? Yeah. You know, I think it will start people fighting. So, you know, I bump it up for that, because the thing is, do you get people fighting? Yes.
Well, let's see the chat. I mean, not the chat, but the comments underneath. LOL, you post about cheaters every day, but still want to get married. God bless. So I guess this person posts about this a lot, probably trying to get content going, probably trying to spread. So they're a gender wars influencer. She says, and what they got to do with either one of us? Let's enjoy things in silence sometimes. Someone said her acting is terrible. The skits just be driving a deeper wedge than Steve Harvey Gap. Oh my God. These skits are terrible. So Karen, I don't think people are buying it. And for
it's not good.
To its credit, only 7 replies, only 64 retweets. And I bet there's a lot of quote tweets in that. Only 44 likes. So did not go viral.
This is low. Like, it's really, really low.
Right.
Like I said, yeah, the energy was low. And not trying to be funny, you had a dog in it. A lot of people like, if the dog isn't part of the sketch, like, why is the dog there? But just for me, just looking at it, and you kind of didn't set us up right. We could rent, you know, because if you are good at this, everything's already propped up. We're not seeing the phone come out. If you good at it, you go, okay, I'm putting my phone out, and then you hit record at the right moment to kind of set everything up for us. But we had to see the pre-production. You ain't edit the clip, you know, type of thing. Like I said, the energy was low. I do appreciate them going back and forth, but I didn't like this one at all. I'd probably give it like a 2, maybe 3 max. I didn't. Okay. Yeah. Mm-mm.
So I would give it a 4 out of 10, and here's why. I like the writing, the idea, because I think what she was trying to get at, what both of them were trying to get at, is how men use this excuse all the time.
Okay.
And it's like, oh, my body produces sperm. If I don't have an orgasm every so often, I'll get blue balls. And men that cheat will try to make it like a biological imperative. Like, I gotta do this. My body is making me do this. Men that want to have more than one woman, but women should only have one man, and the man should be me by a coincidence. This is what they sound like. So I like that it's clever in the, oh yeah, this is what men sound like, and it's ridiculous. Them trying to pass it off as like a real thing, I think was a bad, like they're not capable of pulling off this in a believable way, because it's too clever of writing to make it's almost like you need to do it like Atlanta or something. Like like somehow somebody caught, like you have to like write a skit and perform it with camera crews and a script to make this really work the way it needs to work for people to like be engrossed in it,
Mhm.
you would almost need to like, oh, we got this couple arguing at a table or something. But him pulling out his phone, recording her do it, is just so unbelievable that I think it that's what really cuts the score down for me. But you know, I like that it's clever. But everything else about it is kind of bad.
Mhm.
You know. And even the way he took it all in stride, like, why did you cheat on me? Well, I cheated on you. It was like, oh, this is bad. You guys. Come on. All right, that was Gender Wars. You know how we do. Let's go to the next one.
We're going to war. Gender war. There's a war going on outside. Gender war. There's a war going on outside. Gender war.
All right, Gender Wars is over. Let's do a little bit of fucking with black people. Gonna do the short version today.
Hey, we're just fucking with them people because they black. We're just fucking with them people because they black. We're just fucking with them black people. We're just fucking with them blacks. We're just fucking with black people. Hey, hey, ooh, ah.
All right, fuck with black people. Go around the globe, find different articles, let you know how much we feel fuck with as black people by reading them. LaPlace, Louisiana. One of the largest slave revolt plantations in American history is black owned for the first time. Over 200 years ago, scores of slaves escaped a plantation in LaPlace and marched along the Mississippi River towards New Orleans. Now the land once used for the uprising is owned by a black-led nonprofit, the Descendants Project, according to our partners at NOLA.com. Last week, officials with the Descendants Project announced that they officially acquired the 1811 Kid Ory Historic House on January 12th, which is almost exactly 213 years after the 1811 slave revolt that made the former plantation renowned. Founders and twin sisters, Dr. Joy and Joe Banner, delivered the news February 15th outside of what used to be the main house at the Andre Plantation, the starting point of the 1811 revolt. This is an extremely important historic site to the legacy of resistance, Joy Banner said during the live stream of the announcement. The Descendants Project was founded to preserve and protect the health, land, and lives of the Black descendant community located in Louisiana the river parishes. The Banner said that the mission has sparked different initiatives, from efforts to protect the burial grounds of the enslaved to most recently opposing the river parish industrialization projects like the Wallace Grain Elevator. Throughout St. John and the Baptist Parish, important sites like this one were in danger of being erased, Joy Banner said. We believe that the preservation of these sites is more important than ever because of the attacks on Black history and our education system in particular. Sites like these will have to be the ones telling these stories. Plans for the property are still forming, but they said they hope to use the space as a cultural institution of education while highlighting and celebrating the lives of those who were enslaved on the plantation. They said they also plan on doing the archaeological and genealogical projects on plantation grounds, where they said they believe historical artifacts and information could still be found. The site will likely continue to feature the exhibit dedicated to Edward Kid Ory, a pioneering jazz trombonist who was born on plantation grounds, inspiring the property's most recent use as a dual-purpose museum chronicling the 1811 uprising and Ory's life. The Banner said they would like the input of the local Black community on the plantation's future uses. So yeah, they said this will not be used for bachelorette parties and banquets and all of that. This plantation will not be used for that. Good. 0 to 100, Karen.
This is gonna be one of them 2-score ones.
Okay, all right.
It is a 0 because the people that bought the property actually care about our history, and they care about the grounds, and they realize the importance of what it means to hold on to this history and not allow developments and shit like this to erase it, because they'll do that to our shit. But you let it be some other shit, and them people fight them tooth and nail. They'll find ways to coexist. They'll let all types of white supremacist shit exist with no problems. All types of Jewish things exist with no problem. And that's the thing. Just like that's quote unquote their history. This is our history too. But our shit has to be erased. You dig up grave sites. You put cement across it. You act like this shit doesn't exist, because in your mind, anything that reminds you of our history will make white people feel bad, and anything that makes white people feel bad is not good for our country. Even though we have millions of black and brown children here, and actually white children here that actually need to know the history and know these things exist, because too many people say stupid shit when they go on these things like, were they happy slaves? Did the slaves like being there? Dumb shit like that, versus the reality of what it is to be a slave. It's like people do not understand what owning a person as property actually means. And people need to see these things, because I know when we went to Charleston, we actually got to physically see these things, because there's a difference between you reading it in a book and your teacher telling you, and you watching up-teen videos of eyes on the prize and roots and shit like this, versus you actually seeing a piece of paper that actually was handwritten, that actually tells you how much things were sold, because we were considered property, and that was a receipt of your items and your goods. To see handcuffs and chains made for infants, because that shit was real. It's something about that I appreciate them for. And I do believe that as they begin to dig those grounds, and as they begin to go out and find these things, they will find a lot of shit on that grounds that people just didn't care about. People probably buried all types of treasures and all types of historical things that, people just act like that shit don't matter. They act like it don't matter, and it's one of those things where I might not know where I quote unquote came from, but I do know that that's important to me and my people, and that's all that matters. Preserve it. Keep it around. Everything else is allowed to stay around here in this country. We say trees, we say forests, we say mountains, we got Mount Rushmore, all types of shit. Why when it comes to our shit, it got to be erased? It don't matter. It's less than. When it comes to our shit, and that's not funny. Even some black people don't want the shit there, because in their mind, they feel bad about the things that happened to us. Bitch, we didn't commit the crimes. Crimes was committed to us. And you have to remind people, never forget. Like that's a slogan that we need to have as a people too. Never forget, because when you forget, shit happens again. And to me, these are the things that matter. And I'm glad in their statement, they was like, what y'all bitches ain't gonna do is come here and have motherfucking parties and throw weddings and shit like this, dog. What blood was shed here. What you're not gonna do is come here and do that bullshit on these sites. We're gonna respect it. We're gonna respect our ancestors.
All right. What was the score again?
That was a 0, and then there's a motherfucker Jakaris
Okay.
on the other side.
For me, I give it. I give it a 0, because I think this is good news. This is great news, but it makes me emotional, but in a good way, because if you heard some of the words in that story, the Andre plantation, I wrote these episodes for Drapetomaniacs about this revolt, the 1811 revolt. And I don't know, it just reminds me that work is real, and that it mattered, and that even if we didn't get awards or nominated for awards, which I still think we deserved. Don't make me turn to Jay-Z about these awards, but
right.
But I think our work deserved it. I think it mattered. I think, the reason I saw this is because Michael Harriot DM'd me this link today, and I'm like, oh my God, You know, like that's significant. Michael Harriot introduced me to this story. Writing that funny but educational but emotional, the team behind it and how they appreciated the voice of us, but also the voice and the ears and the hearts of the people listening and the Black people listening, and we made it for them. To see something like that brought full circle is amazing to me. I also wrote, kind of co-wrote, rewrote, whatever, the episode for Bowley, which is about the bank robbery. And ending that with, hey, there's Black people taking up money to buy this bank, this property, and restore it and make it a historical site because it's a Black-owned town with a first Black-owned bank type situation. And so in that way, it made me emotional, but not in a bad way, in a good way. That made me feel like what we did mattered and it's important, and that the legacy of these stories is in telling them. You know, like I was thinking about this the other day. Like, I'm a nonfiction reader for the most part. I don't normally read narrative books. A lot of my friends do, but I prefer nonfiction. But stories are our most powerful way of communicating anything, including nonfiction, including facts. It's the reason The Warmth of Other Suns hits harder than just reading a textbook of this many millions of people move from this area to another area. No, stopping individually, deciding which stories to tell, making a full circle, seeing the connections. That's what makes it beautiful. And so this feels like a full story, full circle connection to the 1811 revolt. And I suggest y'all go listen to those episodes of Drapetomaniacs if you get a chance. It's called Diaspora Wars Part 1 and 2. I had a great time writing it. It was hard work. And a lot of work has to happen behind the scenes to make it palatable and do it right and stuff. And it all happened, you know? So it's just a reminder this shit happens. And this is why I don't run away from our history, and I love talking about it. And I think we should put it in a place of reverence. And also I co-sign everything that you said, you know, for you when you started this, because I think, you know, a lot of us agree with that as well. All right, let's do something a little lighter, a little more racist, everybody. That's right. We're gonna follow up that woke segment with this.
It's time to guess the race. It's time to guess the race. It's time to guess the race. It's time to guess the race.
Guess the race. Time to find out about terrible people doing terrible things. Guessing the race of the people involved. Karen plays along. The chat room plays along. And everyone that plays is racist. Today's contestants, Karen in the chat room. Get ready for this one. Okay, here's the first one. A mom is accused. Many of you already know this answer probably because it went viral, but Karen probably don't. A mom is accused of letting a child wax nude women.
What?
She has been arrested.
Now to a breaking news update. A Memphis mother has been arrested and charged after posting several photos online of her daughter waxing adults. Jasmine Moss is now facing a misdemeanor charge for child abuse and neglect. WREG's Jarita Patterson has more on a story that has garnered national attention.
It was a social media post last week igniting an online firestorm. A Memphis mother releasing photos showing her 5-year-old daughter helping to wax dozens of clients. In one of the pictures, which we are not showing, there is a little girl detectives describe as applying hot wax to the private area of an adult. Now it is the photo of the mother seen here in her mugshot making its rounds. Investigators say what happened at this Glenbrook Street home, which doubles as a place of business, is why Jasmine Moss is charged with child abuse and neglect.
That's not what we do here in Westwood.
With there being a child involved, many shied away from our camera, but there's no avoiding what detectives say happened that landed Moss in lockup on the eve of her birthday. There are reminders this is a home where children live, a kid's scooter, stickers decorating the front windows, and there's this sign. letting those passing by know children are cared for.
No, we can't have 5-year-old kids doing stuff like that.
Although many neighbors were hesitant about speaking publicly, many of you were not. We have learned dozens of complaints were made concerning the woman who operates her business out of her home, but she is now calling Jail East home after she was arrested and charged.
Got jokes?
While we were at Moss's home, a woman wearing what appears to be a city or county badge stopped by before continuing on to another nearby house. Property records show it's owned by those with the same last name, Moss. Now this Memphis mother remains in lockup following a post that ruffled feathers. In Southwest Memphis, Jarita Patterson, WREG News.
All right, Karen, guess the race of Jasmine Moss.
Let her kids read that spicy literature black.
All right. All right, let's check the chat room. See what they believe. Yeah, that's unconscionable. And I saw the picture because, of course, the internet.
A
just
child.
people were sharing it. You don't see the person's vagina, but you can see that the person that clearly the child can see it. And also, like, dozens of women or whatever. Like, how y'all didn't just turn around and walk the fuck out? Who called the cops? Nobody. She was caught posting her own picture on Facebook. Like, this was so normalized. Yeah, LLC Black. We all know, yes. Baby gotta earn her McDonald's money. Black. The correct answer is black. You all got it. Yeah.
That baby 5. My nigga 5.
Yep. Yes.
Traumatizing that child.
It's insane. I don't know how to word it better, but I find the people who got the waxing to be even worse than the mom.
Right.
Because that's not your child. You should immediately walk in and go, this is a situation for the police.
Immediately.
Like you got your legs up in the air and a fucking 5-year-old walks over and no part of you goes, whoa. Like, how big was that discount? There must have been some extra low prices.
Yes, they was.
You know? But all right, let's go to the next one. Fall River police arrest fast food store employee accused of injuring
right now.
Our society is getting so out of hand that it's unbelievable.
A fast food fight to tell you about new in the night team. Reaction after a heated argument between a customer and an employee allegedly turned violent. The scene ending with this 19-year-old employee facing assault and battery charges. Hi, everyone. I'm Dan Janik.
And I'm Patrice Wood. The argument started when the customer felt it was taking too long to get an order of food. The night team's Molly Levine live in the studio with the story.
Now it is Popeyes.
Minimum wage.
Don't go there. It is Popeyes.
Oh, put your patience cap on.
Everything takes too long at Popeyes. Matter of fact, if you get the food on time, guarantee you it's trash. Guarantee you.
It's probably nasty.
It's been sitting in the cold for 30 days if you get that shit within like 2 minutes. They supposed to make you pull over, go sit down. That's just what happens. We got 15 minutes on spicy. We all know that.
Molly?
Dan and Patrice, police say this is the Popeyes employee accused of throwing a metal tray at a customer's face. I spoke with customers today who say they can't believe.
Keeping track. Keep in mind we're guessing the race of the employee.
Ooh, that tray must have had the chicken on it. Metal tray.
Mm-hmm.
Believe this happened.
It's kind of awful.
I don't think he'll be back.
Shocking to you?
Yes. Well, yes and no.
It's not right.
Popeyes customers in Fall River react.
That man knows about Popeyes and minimum wage. He was like, yes and no. I mean, let me guess. You want an extra hot mustard? Come on, man. You know what's up.
After a fight between an employee and a customer. Police say the argument was over wait time for the food. 19-year-old employee Colby McCarthy is accused of throwing a metal tray at a 22-year-old customer's face, allegedly hitting him above his left eye. The customer was transported to a local hospital.
It's not acceptable to treat somebody and throw something at somebody. It's just the situation should have just been like handled a different way.
It happened Monday night around 6:40 p.m. Police swarmed the parking lot.
Our society is getting so out of hand that it's unbelievable.
McCarthy is facing charges of assault and battery with a dangerous weapon. I talked with some customers who were about to get their dinner here, but made a U-turn after hearing this story.
I don't want to get food thrown in my face, you know?
Other customers tell me they've noticed longer than normal wait times at fast food restaurants recently.
I don't know if it's just understaffed or whatever,
but they say that's no excuse to throw trays.
They push you to see how far they can get. You don't give in. You just agree with them. Okay. People should respect each other and have respect for this world.
to throw something at somebody, I mean, they just want their food.
I love the lady that say you just agree with them, like, okay. She understands. She knows ball.
Understand the assignment.
All these motherfuckers stressed and overworked. You're yelling at them about how long it's taking. Ain't gonna get you nothing but a tray in the face, unless you're eating at Chick-fil-A, because they're Christian and they always say, "Let he without sin toss the first tray."
And they're gonna say my pleasure too.
They won't do it, but everybody else will throw a tray in your face. Karen, guess the race of this employee, Colby McCarthy.
Black.
Karen's going with black. Let's check the chat room, see what they believe. Not a lot of people in the chat live tonight, so we won't have a lot of guesses. But we'll give them a second to put their guesses in there. 3-piece spicy dirty rice and a Sprite from the gas station next door, black. He's supposed to be serving pasta and lobster, white. They were not respecting that worker. I swear they called in. They called the worker a nigga. Shouts Kobe on the court, black. White Kobe. White. Kobe sounds white. Kobe white. White Mamba Kobe. The correct answer is Karen went with black. Everybody went different white and black in the chat room. Well, the correct answer is white. We did get it right.
One of the few specks of salt at the Popeyes.
Well, you think that, but let's go back and look at the article now that y'all can watch it with me. The first dude they even asked about the shit is wearing a "Make America Great Again" hat. Keep America
It's getting
great.
so out of hand that it's unbelievable.
So, literally, no. I think they interviewed one black person this entire time.
Oh, so this was the Popeyes on the white side of town, then?
It's got to be a white place,
right?
White place they live in. That's a white lady. The one black person they talked to was the brother that turned around when he found out some shit was going down. He made a U-turn. But yeah, he's the only one that's the only black person in this whole article. Everybody else is white. That's the girl. That's the woman who said, "Listen, it's whatever. They understaffed. Just say okay and just get out of there." So
whatever it takes to get your food.
You
got me, Kobe.
Well, Karen, you're 1-1. You missed one. You were so close. Let's go to the bonus round.
It's time to guess the race. It's time to guess the race. It's time to guess the race. It's time to guess the race.
All right. An angry Airbnb host sent the guest wife's security photo of him with another woman, a lawsuit claims. You fucked around and you literally fucked around and found out. He literally fucked around on his wife and found out that they got video at the Airbnb, apparently.
I think I might know this one.
Oh, you know this one? Okay.
I might.
All right, well, I'll finish it. A vengeful Airbnb host took a security photo of her married guest in the company of another female and emailed the image to the man's wife after a failed extortion attempt triggered by a bad review. Sean Mackey from Mississippi is suing Airbnb and the superhost Pamela Fowler. We're guessing Sean Mackey's race.
Okay.
Accusing them of invading his privacy, inflicting on him emotional distress, and causing damage to his marriage. Mackey's 22-page complaint, initially filed in September, obtained by the Post Wednesday, alleges that Fowler emailed his wife a screenshot from a door camera taken after 3 a.m., showing Mackey with a woman who was not his wife.
Oh, shit.
The superhost allegedly waged a campaign of vengeance after he refused to pay $960 in fees and penalties for having extra guests and breaking house rules. The compromising image was sent from a bogus email account allegedly set up by Fowler pretending to be Mackie. The plaintiff's marriage has suffered as a result. September 2022, Mackie rented Fowler's house in Memphis, billed as a little bit more country, for a weekend get-together with old friends. Mackie booked a stay from September 9th to September 11th, a day he'll never forget, for a total of 4 guests. In his exchanges with the Airbnb host, Mackie said he may invite additional pals over for a very low-key dinner, but they will not be spending the night. That sounds like a lovely time, Fowler replied. I would be delighted to host you all. The 3-bedroom, 2-bath home, which Fowler was renting for $567 a night, could accommodate up to 12 guests. Fowler voiced no objection to the additional guests and reassured Mackie that he could just add them to the guest list at any time. Fowler sent Mackie a long list of house rules, including no smoking or vaping, no excessive noise, no guests from the local area, no parking in front of the garage doors or on the right side of the driveway, no glass, food, drinks, or urinating in the pool, and no skinny dipping. She warned that she reserved the right to impose a $500 fine at her discretion if police were called to the house for any reason, and a $250 fine plus a cancellation of the stay for bringing additional guests. Fowler reminded Mackie that security cameras outside the house are in use at all times and are used to verify guest count and noise and any disturbances. A couple hours after checking into the home, Mackie sent Fowler an updated guest list with 9 names, but noted there may be a few more will be joining. Only 4 to 5 will be staying overnight. Just minutes later, Fowler informed Mackie for the first time that only 8 guests would be permitted at the house and that there would be additional costs per guest, regardless of whether they stayed overnight or not. She was changing the policies on them.
Okay.
She also reminded him
because that's not what she first said, right?
Because she hadn't got the money yet, probably. She also reminded him of the no parties policy. I apologize, we had not discussed the guest count tripling, she wrote in the message attached to the complaint. Each guest does, well, I guess that is true. He told her 4 or 5, even though it can have up to 12. And then he was like, oh, now it's going to be even more.
So in her mind, she's like, no, you need, if there's going to be additional guests, you need to pay for the additional guests.
Each guest does have to be put on Airbnb and accounted for per Airbnb rules and insurance requirements. There's a cost to each guest, even if they do not spend the night. I should also remind you to the absolute strict no parties rule. Thanks for understanding. As the evening went on, Fowler messaged Mackie again, demanding that he either add the extra guests now or have them leave immediately. The host claimed that she had received complaints of disturbances, yelling, and profanity in the parking area. Who knows if that's true? About 15 minutes later, Fowler fired off another message to her guest, demanding that he leave at once. I'm very sorry, but you have violated the no party rule. Disturbed my neighbors by cursing and yelling in the parking lot and have unauthorized guests. I am asking you to leave now. I can't allow you to stay. I'm sorry. I wonder if there's proof of the neighbor thing, because I feel like I don't trust this Airbnb person at all.
They monitoring very super hard.
Right. Mackie's court filing dismissed Fowler's claims as yelling and profanity as unfounded accusations, stressing that none of this is true. Instead of the additional guests initially listed, only 1 additional guest has shown up for a total of 5 guests. No party had taken place. No one had been yelling or cursing in the parking lot. There was simply pretext for the host of the Airbnb to collect more money. Having nowhere else to go, Mackie called Fowler's number, but instead spoke to her husband, Jamie, who assured him that he could continue his stay without further consequence or interruption. The next day, Fowler emailed Mackie to confirm that he would be checking out the following day and provided him with additional instructions. Don't forget to turn off the lights, lock the door, and we wish you safe travels on your journey, her message read. So somehow it seemed to be resolved, right? Mackie left the next day as planned, believing that everything had been resolved. Shortly after, Mackie left a negative review on his stay at the Airbnb's website and requested a partial refund of $500, which was denied. His review was also allegedly taken down. After the posting review, Fowler began harassing Mackie about his review and was obviously concerned about her Airbnb superhost status. Mackie was later contacted by Airbnb representative who told him that the company will be suspending his account pending investigation into his claims, which could potentially end his account being terminated, right? Mackie, who was himself an Airbnb host, denied violating any rules and urged the company to obtain video from the property to verify the allegations against him and his guests. A few days later, Mackie allegedly received a text from Fowler. Hello, Sean. Hope you are well. Sorry it took so long to get the photos you requested together to show your stay at our home. But in bad faith, was driven by integrity, but I had faith, was driven by integrity, so I committed to get these posted for you at Airbnb. Photo at 3:16 a.m. is especially notable. Should I forward the photos and videos to your wife, Teresa, or will you?
Yeah, I'd have sued her too. You know, even though not trying to fight, even though I'd have sued her, right? Because you're blackmailing me now. Yeah, I'd have sued her too. I don't give a fuck. I'd have sued you too.
Attached to the message was a photograph depicting Mackie in the company of another female, not his wife, taken by one of the cameras at Fowler's Airbnb home. Fowler also allegedly threatened to put the video on YouTube shortly because the files are too large to transmit via text.
Yeah.
2 days later, Mackie received a bill for $960 from Airbnb, an amount that included a $160 fine for 4 extra guests, $500 for violating 2 house rules, and $300 stemming from the related to the moderation of his negative review.
It sounds like a scam.
Mackie refused to pay up, leading to this lawsuit called an extortion attempt by Fowler.
I believe him.
Who allegedly set up a fake email account with sexually suggestive handle Sean69 at Outlook. Sean69.
Right. Why'd you have to make a fake email address? You could have just
Sean69 is so good. Oh,
that's hilarious.
Which she then used to send an email with the subject line "nice bag" to Mackie's wife at her place of work. The body of the email included a screenshot of her guest with another woman. "I love your bag. Where'd you get it?" the accompanying message read. Mackie contacted Airbnb about Fowler's alleged stunt, asking for help. Instead of reacting as any decent person or even decent corporation would at such illegal and abhorrent and evil conduct, Airbnb sided with its superhost, its co-defendant Fowler. Damn. Fowler denied sending the email with the photo or even communicating with Mackie's wife in a response filed in December. Mackie's lawsuit is seeking unspecified actual and punitive damages and an injunction to prevent similar action taken against other customers on Airbnb. Airbnb has filed a motion to compel arbitration in the case.
I don't want to fucking arbitrate with you.
Right, and y'all took her side.
The fuck we arbitrating about? You've decided. No, bitch.
Like, what else could have possibly happened for them to get a picture of this man with not his wife
from her property?
From her camera.
From her property. Yes, from her camera.
While Fowler has filed a motion to dismiss, Mackie has until February 21st to sign the bill. All right, Karen, guess the race of Sean Mackie.
Oh, shit. I'm gonna kiss my ass. She black. I mean, he black.
All right.
I don't know who the host is, but yeah, that's really fucked up. And Airbnb did not do a good job as far as like the arbitrary part. And like, I think the biggest reason why they want, in my opinion, you go to arbitrary because they was like, "Hey, dog, if you're trying to change policies, nah, let's talk about this." No, fuck you.
Nah, that's not why they're trying to get you to go to arbitration. They just try to do that to keep it out of the legal system. They do that with everything. There's arbitration clauses and all kinds of shit. It's basically to keep you from going to the actual criminal justice system. And a lot of agreements that people sign has a third-party arbitration clause. A lot of your work agreements and stuff has it in it too. So that if the company does something illegal that maybe they could get criminal charges for, it's like, no, go to arbitration first. Let's try to see if we can resolve it through arbitration. And it's like, no, you violated you broke a law.
Right.
This is a crime that has happened to me.
Right. And so what is we arbitrating about?
Let's see. Vic Mackey nephew spying and pissing on him white. I'm sorry, but you had the extra guess and the entire, that's not race. He played arena football and went to San Diego State black. Mackie, not my captain black. Woo, this is a Netflix documentary white. They are all white. Is that oh, yeah, my shirt is Calvin Candy, yes. Tyler Perry movie, light skinned nigga black. Didn't know I couldn't do that white. Black. Who the fuck did I rent an Airbnb from? Black. The correct answer is black. You missed it.
Yeah, that whole thing sounds like a mess. And on top of that, you picked their side, but nobody else has this video but her.
Mm-hmm.
She's claiming she didn't send it. Who the fuck sent it? I didn't send it to my wife, so the fuck is this?
Yeah, I think that's just, they're like, if we just go hard against him, what the fuck he gonna do? Because especially with the wife and the marriage and all this shit and the cheating, they're probably like, he's gonna be so embarrassed he'll drop it. But maybe you fucked with a man that had nothing to lose. It's like, my wife already done caught me cheating.
Right.
Let's go ahead and go to court now.
Take that shit to trial, bitch.
She won't have this Airbnb lawsuit money before she leaves.
Ain't that the truth?
All right, let's go to the last thing, sword ratchetness. Police say they have arrested a man who was armed with a sword and a pocket knife after a stabbing in Lycoming County.
Oh!
Around 1 a.m. Friday morning, officers were called to the street for a reported stabbing. They found a 30-year-old man with a serious stab wound. According to a report, 22-year-old Dalton Johnson was wielding a 2-foot-long sword and pointed at two individuals who were fighting outside the residence. The victim, an unnamed 30-year-old man from Mill Hall, disarmed Johnson and the fight began between the two. Johnson reportedly punched the victim in the face and got on top of him. While on top of the 30-year-old, he pulled out a pocket knife and stabbed the victim. I guess at least you got stabbed with the knife and not the sword.
Right?
After the stabbing, Johnson fled. About 45 minutes later, is located in a wooded area several blocks from the scene. Johnson has been charged with 3 counts of aggravated assault, 1 count of possessing a weapon, 2 counts of simple assault, 1 count of endangering another person. Being held in jail in lieu of $85,000 cash bail. Guess the race.
What's his name again?
His name is Dalton Johnson.
Dalton
Johnson.
Dalton is, I want to say white.
Karen's going to go white for the bonus round. And you're correct, Karen. He is white. He is a white man.
Yeah, I about to say Dalton. That's definitely white.
Hey, y'all, that's it for this week. Thanks for listening. We'll be back Saturday for the feedback show. We appreciate y'all. And yeah, until next time, I love you.
I love you too.
Mwah. Bye, everybody. Have a good night. Peace.